Hello, everyone. Let's go over here. First of all, let's get the screen right tonight. Hello. Okay, so I popped on early. I saw Miss Lori had a question. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. There's Beth and Linda, Lori, of course, Susan, Roxanne, Hockey Spaz. Hello. Okay, so Lori had a question. She said, Kelly, what are you using when you do a splatter, if that's the right choice of words? Yep. To your cards with the paintbrush. Okay, so there's a lot of different ways that you can do that. I just learned a new way that's actually super easy. I think you may have been in that class that Kelley Taylor did this last weekend, but she used perfect pearls. I've still got it sitting here on my desk, and just put just a tiny bit of that shimmery powder out and then spritzed it with water. And then, what, I have my paintbrush that I use that day out here. I usually like tap it like this on my hand to get it to do its thing. There's also like splatter brushes. You can really use anything you want to. Like we've all got like little things like this, especially like over here, the sprays. You can use any of those sprays. You just have to be careful because any of the distress products are going to be water reactive. So, depending on if you're going to put ink blending over the top of it or if you're going to do something else, you can be careful. But the perfect pearls with water, that was really pretty on that card. I had never done that before. So the other day with Kelley was the first time. It's super easy. And I just put it in a little dish and, a little bit of water and flicked it and it cleaned up really nicely. So that was super easy. Hello. But you could really use anything. You can use acrylic paint. So a lot of times if you're wanting, let's say like a white splatter, you can use just a craft paint and water it down with a little spritz of water in that, and then do it with a paintbrush. Use a cheap paintbrush. They make like little, I think it's Ranger makes like a splatter brush, and I've got mine somewhere in the craft room mess over here. I don't think that it makes any difference. I've seen people use like an old toothbrush and you can kind of flick it a little bit. So you can kind of play with it and see what you want it to do. It depends. Like, do you want sparkle in it? Do you want it to be more matte? So it just depends on what look you're going for. Let's say I can't figure out a way to not get splatter everywhere when splattering. A lot of people use like a splatter box. I don't have a splatter box. I will keep like an old Amazon box and put stuff down in there if I'm doing, or if I think far enough ahead. Let's just get it that way. If I think far enough ahead, I keep a box, a shoe box, and just put it in there and kind of do it that way. I am a mess maker. In fact, I've still got splatter on my glass mat from the other day. So I just splatter it and then I wipe down my mat when I'm off it. Picket Fence has that tool. No, you're not late, Gretchen. I started early because Lori had a good question. Let's see here. A fan brush. Yes. Beth said use a fan brush. Use an old box. Yep, that's what I do too. I just use an old box because, I'm not going to buy a special box just for, and here's the thing. I'm not going to buy a special box to splatter. If you want to do that, that's fine with you. But another thing is then you have to find a place to store the splatter box. I don't want to store it. I'm just going to use an Amazon box and then chunk it in the garbage when I'm finished. Let's see here. I always have a box in my craft room to use. I know. And this, yeah. And I get so many, product packages from Honeybee and stuff. And sometimes they're big enough to, I can use for splatter and messy stuff. Let's see. Hello. Boxes from Costco. Yes, absolutely. I go out on the back porch. That's smart. Yeah, I don't. I am Miss Julia. I'm lazy bones Jones over here. I just splatter it and then I do a wipe down. Oh no, Rachel. Well, I hope I hope you feel better, and I hope it's just the, like, where it feels like a bad cold. I hope it doesn't get any worse than that. Okay, so for tonight's cards, there's going to be multiples. And where's my friend Beth? Beth, you need to wave. Beth emailed me, Beth Holt. I know you guys all know Beth from the chat over there. She emailed me and she said, hey, will you use pattern paper and do the, and I'm not going to say this right, the stack and shuffle with pattern paper. And I haven't done this in a while. So I thought, perfect. And I didn't have an idea of what I was going to do tonight. And so I thought that's perfect. I'm going to get off of holiday cards tonight. I know a lot of you have already made your holiday cards. And so this is going to be a card set because it's the whole stack and shuffle thing. There's a whole lot of different cuts that you can do. You can do straight cuts to make like squares and rectangles. You can do diagonals and, you know, get really fancy. You guys know me, I'm an easy peasy kind of gal. I did pull out the crinkle ribbon tonight, and this is just going to be a mishmash of supplies, but we're going to have fun. And I'm going to make a, hey, Mindy, I'm going to make this card set, and I think what I'm going to do is make 2 sets, so 4 cards tonight and then another 4 tomorrow. And I'm going to tuck these in the little Christmas gift that my son is giving his teachers, and then they'll each have like a little set of cards in their little goodie bag for Christmas. And then, so the sentiments I'm going to be using tonight are kind of like that you can use on anything. Okay. So here is the paper. This is an older paper pad. It is our Happy Hearts. So really pretty, really happy, fun kind of colors. This was put out last year towards Valentine's Day. And so I have picked some shades here. And let me kind of walk through, and you may not be interested in this at all, but of what I look for. And Mindy can probably tell us here and Brenda, I see, is in the chat. There's several of our design team members. When mixing pattern paper, it's almost like when you want to mix your pattern paper, kind of like you do your throw pillows on your sofa, right? So you want to have like that throw pillow or that pattern paper that's the wow factor, that's going to give you a lot of bang for your buck. It's going to have that pop, those fun colors, maybe a really cool big pattern. And that is this paper that I have pulled out of that paper pad. So this is going to be my wow factor. I love this print. So all the other colors that I have pulled out of that paper pad are all going to tie back to this one. And you'll notice that, we've got the green that has this little XOXO. We have a plaid, which is a little bit busy, but I mean, you could go either way here. And this is what's so fun too, is because these are double-sided. And then I went a little bit more, easy peasy with just the simple stripe that's going to pull out the blue and the green here. So that's kind of something that I look for, even if I'm just doing a card and I want to do, different layers with, let's say, layering frames. Well, you want to, maybe choose your big wow factor pattern that is your busy pattern. And then the patterns that you mix with that are going to be a little bit more subdued and a little bit more simple. That's why I have really enjoyed that we've got our paper pads that have, all these patterns in them. But then Melissa also had the idea to create the paper pads, that are just like the pinstripes and polka dots, or we've got our older gingham pads and stuff, because these patterns are really super simple and they're almost like, they're not just super busy. So they kind of go with everything. Okay. So I hope that didn't bore you, but I wanted to tell you kind of how I chose what I chose. And then let's see how we're doing here. Hello, Dawn Holslegel. Okay. So I am going to start cutting my paper, and I waited until, we were live to cut the paper, so I could kind of walk through this. As I mentioned before, there's all different types of like formulas to do your stack and shuffle. And the beauty of this is you can stack all of your 4 sheets of paper together and then cut everything all at one time. So the first thing I'm going to do is I know that I want my patterns on my card to be 4, and I'm going to work hard here with my fingers. I want it to be 4 by 5 1/4 at the end. I'm going to have just a little bit of a border or a margin on my card base. Okay, now I've got all this extra. So when I go to make the other set of cards tomorrow, I'm going to save those and set those aside because I can do that. Okay, and then I can flip all this. So I'm going to flip it over, make sure we have a good stack going here. And then I'm going to set this at 5 1/4. If you don't like to have your card base have that little margin or border around it, then you know, you can keep it 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Okay, I'm going to set that aside, and I'm going to double check to make sure. I'm going to trim. I've got just a little bit of a lip right there. I'm going to trim that down too, because that's going to bug me. All right, so I'm going to set this back in here. Let's get them all lined up here. There we go. Let's see what we've got. I'm just going to take these back ones. I think it's these that shifted. Come on. There we go. There we go. All right, now we've got our 4 by 5 1/4, and it's going to give us that margin, you know, wherever you want to add it. Now I'm going to start cutting down. And my first cut, I've got my little formula right over here. And you can find this, you know, on blogs. You can find this on Pinterest. There's all different types of little formulas. I'm just going easy peasy, as I mentioned tonight, and keeping it pretty square. I'm going to do 2 at a time because I'm scaring myself with the trimmer. Okay, so I'm going to move this, and I'm going to cut the first cut at, I want this little box, the top, to be 2 1/2, and you'll notice that it's 2 1/2 all the way down. So I'm just going to line that up, and it's nice that we have these little grid lines here. I like that. Okay, and now I've got these 2 parts, and then I can cut this little one at 1 3/4. So I'm going to hold that down. And then those are done. I'm going to set those aside. So let's go ahead and do my larger stack. And I want 2 1/2, and then I'm going to cut it again at 2 3/4. So I'm going to move it over to 2 3/4. Make sure we're all lined up. And this is almost, it's almost 2 like matching squares. You can see here where it's going to give us a little bit of variation, but there we go. All right, now let me do the other ones. Okay, so we're going to do 2 1/2. Use my fingernail here, make sure we've got everything kind of lined up. There we go. I'm going to set this aside, and then I'm going to take the 2 little strips and pop those in, and that's going to be 1 3/4. So make sure everything is lined up there. There we go. Stack that up, and then our last cut is at 2 3/4. So I'm going to move it over, line it up. There we go. And then that gives us our little almost matching squares. Okay, now the trick to this is to make your stack, So everything is the same size. So I'm going to put everything together, right? Like so. And the fun thing about using our honeybee pattern paper is literally you could use either side, right? And so like I have this one, and I know that the little square is going to go at the top. If I wanted to, I could use the back side and use the hearts. I'm not going to do that, but let's see here. We have a little square. The green is going to go there. No, it's not. The green. Let me get it lined up here. And then I'm getting all my stacks mixed up. And then we have a long one that's a different pattern. And then we have, let's say, our little stripe. And it's going to go something like this. Let me check these two. Those are the same size. Pause. I need like suspenseful music when we're doing this here. I'm stacking all these up so I can figure out what goes with what here. Okay, there's that. And then that's the bad thing about these two being the same size. And then there's that. Okay, so here's one, finally. And see, like if we didn't like this plaid and we wanted to flip it over where we could have like the squiggly hearts, or we could have like the chevron, or we could have the baby blue, whatever we wanted to do. Okay, so there's one. And I'm going to stack these little squares because they're hard to differentiate here. Okay, so that is that size. That's the big one. This is a small one. This one is a big one. Okay, and then we have the blue long, and then we have the plaid. So we're just mixing everything up, right? And then we've got the flowers. We have like the green. We have the red. And then we have, whoops, the stripe. Okay, so Beth, do you see how kind of you like mix and match all these little things like that? And then I've got let's flip it over, right? The blue, the red, the green, and then a little flower. And so out of all your sheets of paper, so you've got 4 sheets of paper, and you're going to cut it, just, stack them up and cut it, and then you're going to get 4 cards out of it. So that's the whole, like, the fun thing about this. Okay, so I'm going to put everything, now that I've got them sorted out, I'm going to make little stacks up here. All right, so and I'm going to make this easy on myself. So I have cut just 4 little card panels, just out of cheap white cardstock. And I'm going to glue down all of my little stackers before I add it onto a card base. And, you could switch up the color of your card base. I am going to add a sentiment, and I'm going to make them a little bit more froofy since it's for my son's teachers. And I am going to tie a ribbon. So I'm going to get this one down here. Let me make sure. Let's check all of our little borders. And I'm going to be able to look up as I'm kind of laying all these out and answer any questions. So I'm leaving, you can see the little margin. I'm going to leave a margin there, and then I'm going to leave a margin in between each little square too. Let's see here. Oh, you guys I love y'all's conversations. You guys are so funny. Now, I will say that liquid adhesive is going to be your friend doing, little projects like this, because you're going to be able to shimmy things around a little bit, because you want all your little squares, or if you've cut the diagonals or whatever, you're going to want everything to kind of line up and be, pretty straight. Okay, so my first one. And another reason why it's easy to put these on card bases or little panels first is because then I can go back and I can make, vertical cards. I can put this on a horizontal card base and put a big old sentiment or whatever across the front. You can slice up a whole bunch of pattern paper and then sit in front of the TV or a podcast or whatever, make a whole bunch of these, and then you have a whole bunch of little card panels that you can just put some pretty sentiments, or put a lovely layers little flower, or, whatever. So the sky's the limit, really, with deciding how you want to decorate. So I'm just going to keep moving right along here in my little assembly line. And let me shimmy that around a little bit. All right, let's see here. Party invites. Oh, yeah, for sure. I did this back in the summer with Christmas paper and then used an embossing folder on it to make it look quilted. Well, how brilliant is that? Who is that? Patricia. So smart. Yeah, this is really easy. And especially, here's the thing. Most of us have been doing all kinds of holiday cards, projects. And, normally holiday cards, even if you're going to do a simple card, usually you're making multiples. And so this is kind of one of those easy projects, and it uses up your stash of pattern paper as well. Okay, so we've got another one. So this is what we have so far. So cute. Okay, I'm liking how we're looking so far. Let's do, I had trouble picking what paper I wanted to use out of this paper pad, because really these colors are so, like, Happy Hearts was the perfect name for that, because all these colors are so pretty and happy and they're just fun. Okay, I'm going to put that down and have that little border there. Come on, shimmy. There we go. And then our flowers. Let's see here. I have to decorate treat bags for putting peppermint bark in. This would be cute. It would be cute. You could do that. And you can make a smaller version even to like clip to the top or something. I've seen, little bags like that. Or you could do it and fold it over. Or, there's all kinds of different ways. But this is a fun way to, I don't know if you're like me, but I hoard my pattern paper, especially like I love this flowery pattern. And so that's a way for me to pull it out and use it and get a bunch of cards out of it. Okay, and I know that Sam, that's my son, I know Sam's teachers are really going to enjoy these cards because, they can give them to their family members. They can give them to other staff there at the school or whatever. And I'm just going to add simple, like everyday sentiments to it. And you could totally mix this up too. Like if you wanted like the little square and move it around, I'm keeping it easy. If you want to mix up your pattern and shuffle everything around, you can do that. Okay, and let's go down here. Okay, so here is what we have so far. Looks like a happy, pretty quilt or something. Okay, so I'm going to set these aside, and there we go. And then our sentiments. So I mentioned our sentiments, and I'm using like an everyday, well, actually it's from the fall, I'd never say this right, foliage frame stamp set. So I'm using this thank you, great everyday sentiment, thinking of you, hello, and love you. So his teachers are going to have a little smorgasbord of choices. Now I have cut this layering vintage labels, like stacking label set. I chose two of kind of the a little bit smaller and then two big ones for those great big sentiments. And that's what my sentiments I'm going to stamp on. I've got them all in here on my sticky mat, so it's going to be easy to mass produce. I'm going to use my good old VersaFine ink because it's going to be nice and crisp. Ink these up. Okay. And then let's shut the door. And then these sentiments are pretty thick. They're not like a dainty, swirly script. So you can give them some pressure. There we go. And let's see how it's looking. Yep. We need to go over it one more time. But those are going to be big and nice and bold. If you wanted to stamp your sentiments in like a green or a pink, or even heat emboss, you know, you can do that. I'm going easy peasy tonight. So let's shut the door. Give that another rub down. Yeah, the sticky mat, it's the waffle flower grip mat. And I don't know if we have any in stock right now because they've been hard to keep in stock, but I love these sticky mats. I'm going to do one more time for good measure. Okay. And I'm going to leave, no, I'll have to take them out. I was going to say I'm going to leave these stamps in here for tomorrow, but I'll have to reline up everything. Okay. So that is really nice and bold now. And I've got it all inked the way I want it. And now I'm going to take my little die pick and I'm going to pop these out. And be very careful because that ink is going to be wet. But you know, these sentiments have dies, but sometimes it's fun to just use, you know, you could use a circle. I could have used a little heart or, you know, whatever floats your boat for these. It's kind of fun to mix it up and do something different. Okay, so before I add my little quilted panels onto the card base, I am going to tie a bit of ribbon. And this is like doing all the things, as Lisa would say. I'm doing all the extra things, but I think it's going to give it like a special little touch. The card bases that I have, normally I'll use a top folding card base. For these, I did them side folding because I'm going to be able to give them some that are vertical and then give them a couple that are horizontal as well and kind of mix up the little gift set. And so I did that. So let's put my mess aside. And this is just seam binding. I know you guys have probably seen me use that before. I've got, you could use vintage, what do you call it? Lace or twine would be super cute wrapped around here. I'm just going to wrap it and I'm going to cheat. And I'm going to tape the sides And then I'm going to pull it. Come on. You could use jute, any kind of ribbon in your stash. And I'm going to follow this little, if I can get it uncrinkled just a little bit. I'm going to follow this little stripe across there. And scissors. There we go. All right, so we've got that nice and crinkly. Okay, and then I've got this. Let's see. Bye, Vicki Davis. Thanks for joining. Okay, and then I'm going to take, before I pop this onto the card, I'm going to dry this just for a second. Okay, so that is going to go. See how cute and big and bold and bright that's going to be on there? And I'm going to take my foam tape. I'm going to fold this over and add, I think one will be plenty. Just like that. Okay, and then you could go off to the side. You could go in the center. Let's see here. I'm going to pull it. Let's do one like right over here, and that's going to hide my little crinkle a little bit. And it's going to be a little bit popped up there. And then all you have to do is like this number. And I'm not going to make y'all sit through all the ribbons and all the things, because I could fuss with ribbon for days. Ribbon and embellishments is like my, you know, you just sit and fuss with it and fuss with it and fuss with it. Okay, I'm going to call that right there and right there. Pull these out a little bit so the loops are not so huge. Make it messy. Okay, now, and then if you wanted to put, you know, your little embellishments or whatever, I'm going to keep this just, I think it's cute just like that. And I'll fuss with the ribbon later, but super cute. And so I love that font on there. And now I can pop it onto a card base. So let me get my glue back out here. There we go. And then pop it down, and it's the same size as the card base. So I can just add that down. There we go. And then that one's all ready to go for a little horizontal card. Super easy. Okay, now let's pop these. I'm going to go ahead and do a couple on the card bases. I won't make you guys sit through the ribbon tonight. That would be torturous. Okay, pop this one on just like so. Let's see here. Wait a moment. Okay, what is Bonnie doing? Let's see here. What are y'all doing while you watch? I seem to be, oh, Bonnie is making tags. I want to see Bonnie's tags. Okay, so that is a vertical. Let's do another horizontal, and then there will be two of each. Pop this down. Lisa and I were just chatting before the live that it would be so fun to put together like a Zoom crafty, like all of us just get together on Zoom and you all craft, and us just sit and chit chat while we all craft together on Zoom. Wouldn't that be a hoot? And then I'm not missing, because you guys have the most fascinating conversations about, what you're going to have for your holiday meals and all these things that I miss because I've got my head down over here. All right, let's see here. I'm going to add a little bit of foam to that one. Okay, and then I'm going to put this big, let's see, make sure I'm going the right direction here. That one. Let's put the big thank you like right there. Okay, let me hold it up, make sure we're nice and straight. Look how cute that is. And I love that, that big black font on there. Okay, let's do these two. Let's see here. Beth, we're going to try and work that out for early 2024. That would be so fun. Yes, because Lisa and I were chit-chatting about that, and you guys are so fun, and you all have become friends. We're all friends, right? Look how cute that is. And I think it would be such a hoot to just get on Zoom, all of us craft together. If you want to work on the same thing as somebody else, or maybe we do like a little Zoom class type thing, and I could teach a card, Lisa could teach a card, we could have somebody else. I'm trying to make sure I get everything going the right direction here. Oh, that's so cute. Or you could just do your own thing. Okay, so let me go here to this view. Okay, so now I've got 2 vertical, 2 horizontal, and what I'll probably do with the set that I'm making tomorrow is I'll do a couple like this that don't have bows, and do another few that do have bows, and I'll do like in the sets. He's got 2 teachers. So I'll give them 2 cards that have bows and 2 cards that don't have bows. Maybe I'll put pearls or something on the other ones. But then they've got this whole like little cutesy matching set. Super easy. So fun. Yes. A Zoom party. Exactly. A Zoom party. I feel like I get an image of you and say something. I can't play hockey anymore. That's so funny. See, you guys are so fun. Is there a video tomorrow? Always rejoicing. There's not a live tomorrow. There's probably a video on the YouTube channel. It is a cute teacher gift. And I was telling everybody earlier that Beth, who's in the chat, she emailed me and she was like, hey, will you do this? And I was like, sure, I don't have anything planned tonight. So it worked out perfectly. And then I was like, that is the perfect little set. I'll put some envelopes with these and I'll tuck those into Sam's teacher gifts that we're going to give them on Friday. And so now they've got like a thank you card, a hello, they can give it to whoever. And they're just simple, everyday cards that they can pull out and use. I played for destroyed my knee at hockey spaz, played hockey for 37 years. Oh my gosh. I could never play hockey. Believe it or not, about me, I'm highly competitive and I would probably get violent in hockey. Like I had to quit playing sports and games and things because that's not a very good trait for me to tell my friends here before we have a Zoom party. But that's me. Okay, Lisa, you want to give us our winner for tonight? The LOL, I know. Oh, man, Sherry just had her second knee replacement. Thank you, Beth. All right, Lita, you are the winner. Miss Lita. Whoop, whoop. Lita's the winner. All right, Miss Lita, if you'll email me at Kelley, Kelley at honeybeestamps.com. I am going to hook you up with a prize. Yes, I know. I have calmed down in my older age. Maybe that's it. We'll say that. I'll tell all my, yeah, we'll say that. But yeah, I was never like a wild child, but I competed in all the sports and I was crazy competitive. Look at hockey skates are easier and safer than figure skates. Oof, mercy. I've had that. Okay, missed it. Are you on tomorrow night again? Lori, no, I'm not. No, I'll be back next Monday. I don't think that Kelley is on tomorrow. Yes, that's right. Yeah, I'm going to finish up the cards just here in my craft room tomorrow for another set because he's got 2 teachers. So that's kind of what I was mentioning. That may have been confusing. All right. Let's see here. Okay, I think we're all done. Thank you, Beth, for the idea. And I got to pull out some fun, happy paper and all the fun things. All right, you guys. So come and join us Monday night. Just like tonight, you never know what you're going to get. If there's something, just like Beth reached out and said, hey, would you do this? Or would you show us this or whatever? Email me and say, hey, would you do this? And I've wanted to see how that works from Honeybee Stamps or how that is used. Email me and you never know. Okay, because that helps me out too. All right, you guys, have a great night. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.